Hello, my name is Betsy Neesmith. I'm going to be describing for you today my plan for integrating the Web 2.0 tool SeeSaw into the current framework of my second grade public school classroom. I'll begin by telling you a little about the functionality of SeeSaw, and then I'll move into my plan for implementation and assessing each student's mastery of the tool. Once students are comfortable using SeeSaw independently, I will then highlight for you how I plan to integrate this Web 2.0 tool into each content area, specifically for enhancing instructional strategies that I already have in place to facilitate a deeper level of learning for my students. So SeeSaw is an online learning journal that allows students to post artifacts to generate a series of artifacts for specific assignments or tasks that they're doing in school. And it just gives them a way to display evidence of their own learning, and they can do it using multimodal content. You can see here that they can choose to post a photo, a video, a drawing, grab a photo from the camera roll, type text, or links to other resources. They're then able to annotate that artifact. They can draw directly on it. They can click the microphone feature and and then record their voice. They could also draw to annotate their thinking. So I love that it offers so many choices for kids. SeeSaw is also very user-friendly. When they're taking pictures of artifacts, so like let's say this student here took a picture of a map that they had created. It has a built-in camera feature that that disables the camera from taking a picture unless it's being held still. So I love that. That's why I like SeeSaw a little bit better than other digital learning journal social platforms for learning like Edmodo. I think there's a few other competitors as well. SeeSaw offers a very organized format, and you can organize tasks by project or assignment or subject area. And then also another thing I love about SeeSaw is that it sends direct notifications to parents' smartphones whenever an artifact is posted to their child's journal. I know the parents at my school are going to love that feature. Here is my journal, my current schedule. I'm sorry, I said journal. Here's my current schedule. For my second grade classroom. We do the bulk of our work during the morning hours, and then we break for recess, lunch, and specials, and then wrap up with social studies and extended learning time. For implementing SeeSaw, I plan to use a lot of the tools that are already given, that are already provided on the SeeSaw website. They do a wonderful job as a company in providing all of these useful tools, outlining expectations for the classroom, which is available as a printable poster. Also, what kind of work to post. Just kind of going over the importance of what types of things are appropriate to post, and how to explain your thinking, and that it's a semi-public forum, so keep that in mind when posting things. So also they provide digital citizenship skill posters, which are already pre-made, which is super helpful. I plan to use all of those in implementing SeeSaw. Then for providing opportunities for practicing, I found these neat task cards on Teacher Pay Teachers that facilitates that much needed get to know you icebreaker type activities for kids at the first few weeks of school, while also letting them practice with all the features of SeeSaw. Here are just a few examples of taking a picture of your favorite thing and then posting it and annotating it with text, drawing a picture of something you learned today, clicking on the microphone and annotating that, and then conducting an interview with your partner so that you get practice with the video record option. And then uploading that. So really cool task cards. There's at least a couple weeks worth of them. Plan to use this to implement SeeSaw and then assess students' mastery of the tool using this rubric here. And this rubric can be posted directly onto SeeSaw so they can access it at any time, post it in the classroom. And I just would be looking for how independently they were able to use the tool and how clearly they were able to communicate their ideas. Here are the specific areas of the day that I plan to eventually implement or pull in SeeSaw in some way or another to help facilitate learning for my students. So for Writer's Workshop, having that authentic audience so easily accessible makes them more motivated to write and encourages them to do their best work and to always have that growth mindset. In Reading Workshop, we do a daily read aloud that's of a chapter book that's above grade level, and we are to do some class discussions in class face-to-face, but SeeSaw will allow us to do these on the computer, digitally, to promote those digital citizenship skills. And in math, I see SeeSaw being an awesome way to facilitate math thinking or math talk. We encourage students to talk about their thinking, explain their thinking when they're solving a problem, and collaborate with their peers. And right now we just are having them write down their thinking, but using SeeSaw they can use the voice record feature, which is really cool. And also draw directly on to show things. Science and social studies, I see SeeSaw being a great tool for creating photo journals and responding to tag questions that can be that can create discussions within the classroom on social studies topics. And then during extended learning time, we do project-based learning, and SeeSaw would be a great way for them to explain the reasoning behind the decisions they make during the course of the project. So here's an example of writing, a screenshot of SeeSaw. After a student has published a piece of writing, they can click on the little globe icon, and it sends their writing directly to the class blog. So being a student blogger never has been easier before using SeeSaw. In the reading block of the day, here's an example of the discussion question posted. Students can click comment down here, and I would like to have them comment at least twice on each question. Once is with an initial response to the question, and then a follow-up where they're participating in the conversation, commenting on someone else's post. This promotes the critical thinking of on the book, and then also promoting those digital citizenship skills as well. In math, we have a center. We do math centers, and they get some explicit teaching from me in one center, and then move directly to a collaborative application center where they are solving some sort of math problem that's using whatever skills we're learning, and so they could just simply post after collaborating with their peers to complete the work, post a picture of their work, and then use the voice record feature or the drawing feature or the type text feature to explain their thinking. So in science and social studies, here's an example of an activity of how they could create photo journals of things they're learning in science. Here's an activity of taking a picture of a plant. We study plants in second grade, and using the drawing feature, they would annotate the picture of the plant and label the parts. I can see this promoting social interaction within the science and social studies block, and also just allowing them to use multiple modes of expression for explaining their thinking and displaying evidence of their learning. So during ELT, with the end of my day, we do project-based learning. Here's an example of a project that we currently do where we design a water park, and then based on the rubric, the design that gets the most student votes or student points from the rubric is chosen as the winner. So it's kind of fun. It kind of lists the tasks here that they have to start out with: some branding. They do some background research on water parks, and then they design their rides. They design a smartphone app, a little kid section. They have to think about environmental restrictions when they're and design a pump to get water from a local river, which is cool. But they for every task, there's a specific task. Each line item is a specific task, and it's the final product is a piece of paper that's stapled together in a book format. That's what we've been using up until now. But I really see SeeSaw being awesome, so that they can actually show the reasoning behind the decisions that they make for each task. So, for example, let me take a quick break here, pull up my SeeSaw page. Here's an example when they do their initial branding for task for the project. A student would post a picture of the final work that they did, and then using the voice record feature, explain their thinking.
Hey, my name is Student A, and
this is what my group members and I collaborated on today in school in regards to designing our water park project. You can see my water park name that I've chosen, Aquatic Adventureland of Athens. I chose this name for my park because I loved how every letter starts with A. I chose the details that you see in my logo down at the bottom based on other logos that I did when I was doing research online, and I noticed that the incorporation of one of the water rides into the logo is a good idea. All right, I'm going to pause that right there for the sake of time, just to say that this student posted their artifact into the water park project folder, so it stays nice and organized. And then I, as a teacher, can click on the comment feature and give them the feedback. You know, I could say, hey, I really liked your use of multiple fonts in your logo. I like your details in your drawing of your logo, etc. So that is a sample of artifact for this particular project, and I'll post the entire project on my I will link it to, like, a link to purchasing the project on my website, on my portfolio. So this kind of wraps up SeeSaw and how I plan to integrate it. Here's another rubric for how I would grade their or assess their artifacts posted for this water park design project. So basically just in two areas: comprehension, how easily comprehended was their post, was their thinking clear, easy to understand, was the text well organized and grammatically correct, etc. And then also the reasoning behind the decisions. Was their reasoning based on creative thinking, or was it based on evidence that they gathered from their research? So I can post this rubric directly onto SeeSaw so that it's accessible to the students at any time during the course of the project. And I just really love how SeeSaw creates that social interaction, promotes that critical thinking as they're explaining their reasoning behind the choices that were made. I just really think that SeeSaw takes this project-based learning approach to a whole nother level. So that wraps up SeeSaw for me. Here are my acknowledgments, and please let me know if you have any questions. See ya.